I've had my worst days in Iraq, and now I've had my best days in Iraq. My name is Stacy Bare, and I started Adventure Not War. I was stationed in Germany from 2000 to 2004, did a tour in Bosnia 0304, and then I got out of the Army and I got called back out of the Individual Ready Reserve and served in Baghdad 0607. Even when I was in Baghdad, two of the guys that we worked with were Iraqi Americans, Kurdish Americans, and they told my buddy Brad and I about how beautiful Kurdistan was, and these rolling mountains, and there was snow there, and you could ski there, and you could do all these great things there. Of course they didn't ski, but they're like, of course there's snow, you can ski. So that's where I think the idea began to germinate. And then also I have this amazing great aunt Mildred who turns 100 this year, and she served in World War II and then stayed in Japan for 4 years after the war. And in her 80s, after her husband died, she went back to Papua New Guinea and back to Japan and traveled. And so in some ways, I think a combination of watching how Aunt Mildred lived her life and then having this seed planted by these Kurdish guys that Iraq was a beautiful place. A few years after I got back and was climbing and skiing, I decided that it was time for me to go back to all the places that I had fought or cleaned up after war. It allowed me to go back to Iraq and leave Iraq on my own terms. I never in a million years thought, oh, I'm gonna make a film someday and it's gonna get into Tribeca or mountain film or anything like that. That was never my intention, but it's pretty cool to see. It really takes a life of its own. One of the things we really wanted to show people is that the people in Iraq are not all that different than the people in the United States. In fact, they're all people and they want the same things for their families and their kids, and they want a dry bed and a warm meal, and I think that's what most people want around the world. You know, I really hope other veterans and non-veterans alike are moved to go back to their own places and tell their story however they feel appropriate, you know. Write a blog, take photos, make a little film. That's the goal, right, is that at some level that this inspires other people to go back and rewrite their own narratives or add on to the narratives that they had in conflict, that they take control of that. And I think that's what people seem to be really moved by the story.